When you learn, teach. When you get, give. That is a quote by Maya Angelou.
Welcome to Trina Talk. Trina Talk is a weekly podcast that will inspire and empower women of all ages to strive for the impossible. Your host, Trina L. Martin from TrinaMartin.com, is a motivational speaker, leader, and cyber tech expert. Every week, Trina will share wisdom gained from her life experiences and lessons learned while pursuing her goals to inspire you to achieve the next level in your life. Now, your host, Trina L. Martin.
Hello, welcome to Trina Talk. I am your host, Trina L. Martin, and this is episode 75. Before I get into this week's episode, I would just like to say that today, the state of the world is a serious matter. People are sick. The selfish people are coming out where they're price gouging on things. You have people who have gone in and every time they get a chance, they're buying up toilet paper and things like that and not thinking of other people who may need those things. So we're really at a trying time with this virus that's taken hold of the world and people are dying from it. People are in just sheer panic, not knowing what to do. First of all, I would like to give a thank you to all of our healthcare providers out there who are being dedicated, doing what they've been trained to do. And thank you. You guys may get sick as well, but you are still out there on the front lines. And I would like to say thank you. And because we are in such a perilous time where we don't know what's going to happen, who is going to survive this. Normally, I work with businesses and help those businesses develop their leaders, and I'm a speaker. But right now, I would like to offer that you pick up my book, From a Mess to Amazing, 7 Steps to Create the Life You Deserve, because I think in this day and age, it's appropriate to help you get past what's going on. People are having all kind of issues, whether it's mental health or whatever. And I would just like to offer that as a form of inspiration for you. So while you're sitting at home, if you get tired of Netflixing, order the book on Amazon. Now on to this week's episode. My guests this week are the Carter brothers, Dr. Sterling and Stephen Carter. My topic of this week's episode is paying it forward. Dr. Sterling Carter and Stephen Carter are twin entrepreneurs and motivational speakers based in Houston, Texas. Dr. Sterling is a clinical expert with over 20 years of experience as a physical therapist. Stephen Carter has over 2 decades of experience in managerial and executive level positions for various industries, including the medical and oil and gas industry. Today, they have a new initiative, which is called the Young Millionaires series, where they want to help change the economic trajectory of underserved youth. Hello, Stephen and Sterling. Welcome to Trina Talk. How are you?
Doing great. It's a pleasure. Great to be here.
Very excited to be on with you, Trina.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a different episode for me because I have the Carter brothers, and I'm talking to 2 people, vice the one person that I normally talk to, but this is going to be fabulous. You guys are actually setting a precedent for me today. So,
Right.
you guys, go ahead.
I was just going to say 2 is better than 1, right?
Absolutely.
So we're going to have fun and just bounce up from one conversation to the next. So it'll be nice.
Say double your trouble, double your pleasure, depending on how you want to look at it.
It'll be fun.
Okay, so you guys are doing some amazing things, but before I dive into just talking about the things you're doing currently, give me a background on each one of you guys of who you are and how you come to the point where you are today.
Okay. Thanks, Trina. So Sterling Carter here. I've been in healthcare my entire life. I have a doctorate in physical therapy. I have been, I guess, probably before I even became a physical therapist, I was a combat medic in the Army. And so Stephen and I were both in the military and both were combat medics right out of high school. But kind of fast forward, I graduated from Langston University. Stephen and I actually both went to Langston, HBCU, and then went on to get my master's from Texas Women's University in Houston, Texas, and then my doctorate from Simmons University in Boston. But basically was working and just felt like there was that there was more for me out of life, and that I could do something a little bit different than what was being done in regards to taking care of patients. And so I decided to jump out in private practice. So in about 2009, I opened up a physical therapy outpatient clinic in Sugar Land, which is the suburbs of Houston, Texas. And from there, started growing a brand and all that kind of good stuff. And then probably about 2 years later, after getting several calls about, from home health agencies actually looking for therapists and getting calls from my peers that were looking for jobs, I thought about why not create some type of a staffing company that provides therapists to home health agencies, and really wasn't sure exactly how to go about doing that business, because my background especially was healthcare, but not necessarily running a staffing business. So that's when I talked to Stephen, my twin brother, and asked him about the idea and what he thought about it. He's ran and opened up several different businesses, and he'll tell you about that. But fast forward, we opened up a staffing company in 2011, and we've opened up a bunch of businesses since then. But I'll pass it over to Stephen so he can take us up to that point.
Yeah. So again, Stephen Carter, as Sterling mentioned, we're twin brothers. We did pretty much everything together most of our lives. We obviously went through high school together. We actually went to the military together, and we attended undergrad at Langston University together. And then, as twins, you you do everything together. You're confused a lot. And when we were younger in high school, no one was able to tell us apart. So they would either call us Twin or Stephen Sterling. It was just one name. It was not Stephen or Sterling, it was just Stephen Sterling. It didn't matter who they were trying to speak with. And so as we kind of finished up college, we wanted to go our separate ways. So as Sterling mentioned, he went into physical therapy and went on to get his doctorate. I went into business. So my undergrad is in accounting, a bachelor's in accounting, and I attended the University of Houston for my master's in business administration with an emphasis in finance and change management. And I went into the oil and gas industry because in Houston that's one of the most lucrative industries to go into, and did that for a while. And as Sterling mentioned, I've opened up several small businesses during that time. I had a restaurant and a barbershop and a tax preparation business, a promotions company, a number of different things. But it wasn't until Sterling and I linked together that we found success in terms of our staffing company. And the staffing company has gone on to win numerous accolades. We've been on the Inc. 5000 list many times. We won Family Business of the Year from Black Enterprise, Entrepreneur 360 list, Houston's Business Journal Top 100 list, and a number of different awards, which has given us an opportunity to do some pretty great things, and one of which is to write a book. So in 2018, we authored our first book through Forbes magazine. They reached out to us and had been seeing some of the things that we were doing, and Forbes magazine had just launched a new book label called Forbes Books, and they wanted us to be a part of it. So we wrote our first book, launched that in October 2018, which is now an Amazon bestseller, and has allowed us to really get on the map, not only just locally in Houston, but across the nation.
Wow. You guys it's funny because I'm listening to you guys talk, and I'm in Houston as well.
Mm-hmm.
I went to an HBCU, shout out Alabama A&M University. And
yeah,
yes, and I am an officer in the Navy, so we have so many things in common. So this is really kindred
absolutely.
right here. This is
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. That
So
is.
you guys, and just stop me because I know it's kind of weird with having the two different audio, two different people tapping in. So if I cut you off or something, please just let me know. But you guys, you have done, from leaving your medical practice and in the oil and gas industry to starting several businesses to now your staffing company. Tell me about the staffing company. What are you doing with the staffing company? Who are you targeting?
So primarily, our focal point is healthcare staffing. So we staff uh, physical therapists, of course, occupational therapists, speech therapists, and nurses. We do have some social workers that we staff out, but we have, and Steven says this all the time, there's riches and niches. And so our niche specifically is providing healthcare professionals to the home health environment, to patients in their homes. So we work with a lot of home health agencies, and if they need therapists to come out and see their patients in their homes, they'll contact us. And so we have, I think, 300 to 400 home health agencies that work with us across the state of Texas and Oklahoma. We're planning to branch into Louisiana as well. And so we provide therapists and nursing to those agencies, and we'll send our therapists, our contractors, out to patients' homes to see patients. We've kind of branched away from, not away from healthcare, but included some other areas of staffing. We do administrative staffing. We also do light industrial staffing. We've dabbled into legal staffing. So we're trying to kind of branch out into a staffing company that can provide any staffing needs. So anyone that needs a job, we can provide that for them. So that's our goal.
Okay, great. Now, you guys touched on Forbes called you guys to publish a book. What's the title of the book and what is it about?
Absolutely. So the title of the book is Double Your Success: Principles to Build a Multi-Million-Dollar Business. And the overall concept of the book is that it's essentially a handbook with 11 principles. And we've made it a fairly easy to follow, easy to read book. Being from the business world, and I've read a number of books, both what I was forced to read when I was going through my MBA, and then just general books and general business books in general. You find them to be boring sometimes, a bit convoluted, a bit too complex. So we wanted to have something that was easy to follow, that was filled with examples of our examples to back up the concepts that we were going through. But essentially, it's 11 principle handbook that goes all the way from the starting point of starting a business to going through the process of vetting out that idea, completing an initial business plan, launching that business plan, obtaining capital, all the way through building that business to a multi-million-dollar status. So it's essentially something that you could pick up, and depending upon whatever stage you're in your business, or even if you have about a business but would like to kind of consider opening up your business, any level and any piece in that process, you can pick up our book and turn to that chapter to find what you need to have, and what will be beneficial to you. And it even has concepts that are beneficial to corporate executives or corporate managers, or those that are aspiring to go high in their corporate world. Not everyone is an entrepreneur. Not everyone is made for that world. And so some of the concepts in the book are applicable to not only entrepreneurship but corporate as well. But we're really excited about the impact that it's made. We've received very strong reviews all across the nation and internationally, really, about how the book has impacted people that have read it. They've shared it many times. And we even have an audible version of that book as well for those that don't like the hard copy turn page kind of thing and want to listen to it in their vehicle while they're going back and forth to work.
Wow. That's great because a handbook and a guide. So it's kind of like a desk reference, would you say?
I would say so. And it's filled with examples that we just don't give concepts, but we give live examples of not only what we've experienced ourselves, but also what larger companies have gone through, just to say, okay, here are the examples, here's the wisdom here. You don't have to make the same mistake we've made, and we're telling you what we're telling you what mistakes or what obstacles to avoid. So if you follow the book, it'll lead you to success.
And that's correct. One of the things, a couple things, and Stephen, you did a great job with defining the benefits of the book. Well, what's really cool and what we were looking at, there's so many startup business books out there, how to start your business, how to get it going. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't connect the dots to how to grow your business, right? So everyone has a small business idea. There's so many people that have started businesses, but they don't know what to do in order to take that business to the next level, to take it from, a $10,000 to $15,000 a year business to $1 million business. How can I scale? How can I delegate? How can I multiply my efforts so that I can build something that I can pass on, so I can make this a legacy type of business and provide generational wealth? So that's what we tried to do in that book. And what was so cool about it is, and what Stephen and I did not expect, was the feedback. So everyone loved the book, but in addition to that, they didn't want just the book. They wanted to talk to the Carter brothers. They wanted mentorship. They wanted consulting services. So from the book, we launched Carter Brothers Consulting, one of our newest businesses. And what we provide is we have an online course that runs right in line with the book. It's called the DYS, Double Your Success Online training program. Mm-hmm. And so it basically goes through all the different principles, and in 11 to 12 months, it shows you how to take your business to $1 million level. We also have an opportunity to do, we're doing what we call mastermind groups, where if someone lives in Houston and they want to come down and they want to actually sit down for 4 hours a month and actually just talk with other business owners and work with us specifically, they can do that as well. And then we also do motivational speaking. So we're doing motivational speaking to corporations, talking to young people that are interested in businesses, and just trying to teach them, how to grow businesses. So this book has kind of taken a life of its own and kind of turned into something I think Stu and I weren't expecting, but it's been fun.
It's been really fun.
And, it's funny. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was going to be my next question for you guys. When you were describing the book, I was going to say, well, are you guys doing any kind of consulting or coaching? So I see that you are, and that's amazing. And actually, I was on your website when you first reached out to me, and I saw that you guys were speaking, and I was like, oh, they're coaching, and they're sharing their knowledge and wisdom with people. So I really like that. And that's going to lead me into my next question, where you have a new initiative that you guys have come up with. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. So we have created an initiative that we call the Young Millionaires series. And the thought process that we had was that no one made it in life, obtained success without having someone's shoulders that they stepped on, someone that helped them out along the way. And what we realized is that we were blessed to have a strong mother in the household who was an educator and pushed us to make sure that we completed our education, our higher education degrees, and really accepted nothing less except for us to be the very best that we could be. We still were raised in a single mother household, single parent household. And so we had to go elsewhere to find mentors. We were in the Boy Scouts, we did some other things. But a lot of people don't have that, right? A lot of people, their success in what they do in life is really based upon who you know and who you've been introduced to that has taken the time to steer you in the right direction. So we launched the Young Millionaire series because we really wanted to change the concept of defining and creating generational wealth for not just, so that you're looking at wealth, not just for you, not just for yourself, but for generations to come. Because we really feel like the only way to change conceptually the financial position of communities, and then specifically the African American community, is to ensure that we set up our future generations to be in a better position than we are. And so we believe that generational wealth should be started through entrepreneurship, through small businesses, through starting up companies and generating wealth that you can pass on. And so we're going on a 4-city tour starting at home here in Houston in February. It will be a 1-day seminar conference where we'll invite different thought leaders, motivators, speakers from the Houston area to come in and talk to any young at heart individuals that want to come and learn about business and how to grow their business. And then from there, we're going on to Chicago, Atlanta, and to Washington, D.C. And so our goal is to touch as many people as possible and really push the concept of generational wealth, of entrepreneurship, to be the backbone of turning around our financial future for our community.
Great. Now, I have so many things that are going through my head as you're talking, but I love the fact that you guys came from a single mother home, but yet you're successful today. Where did you guys get your entrepreneurial spirit from? Was it something that your mother instilled and encouraged you to do? Was it something that later on in life you did? Because both of you had careers outside of being entrepreneurs. What made you decide to want to be an entrepreneur? And what made you just say, you know what, now that we've done this, we're going to take it to another level and we're going to help those who need help? Because a lot of time people want to be entrepreneurs, but they're not trying to reach back and help anyone else.
Loaded question. I love it. Great questions, Trina. First, in regards to, I think, our upbringing, our mom was always had an entrepreneurial mindset. Growing up, she had a snow cone stand in the neighborhood local, where we would go and help her run her snow cone stand. And she was a teacher and taught for 20 years on the high school level. But she always had a snow cone stand on the side. Before that, when microwaves were first coming out, this was a long time ago, but she had her own microwave educational course that she would teach families and mothers how to use microwaves, and she sold microwaves. So that was always what we were able to see in our mother. But from a very young age, she taught us how to become entrepreneurs as well. So we were, our first business was cutting yards in the neighborhood. So we would literally push the lawnmower around the neighborhood to our neighbors, and we would cut their yards for a really inexpensive price. And then after that, when we were in the military, and Trina, you probably can attest to this, it's all about making sure that your boots were shined and that kind of thing. This was before they all switched to suede. They were actually, that's right. They were actually.
I remember that.
And it was all about the spit shine, right? So we had a boot shining business where we actually would shine boots for our fellow comrade soldiers and charge for that. So we've always kind of had our mom to teach us that entrepreneurial mindset, and we've always had little side businesses from I guess from as early as I can remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so as far as I guess moving forward into helping others, I think that always, and our mom being a teacher and an educator and always helping and taking care of others and making sure that we had everything that we wanted and needed, even her being a single parent, I think that really instilled in us the philanthropy, helping others, and I think being in healthcare too, sure. It just comes natural. But we really have a strong sense of community and wanting to make a difference, not just for us, but for everyone. I mean, the reality of it is that how many people we know that are just one generation, maybe they're the first generation to actually have finished college, actually to have, actually finish college and actually have a professional position or a job. We're just one generation away from a poverty, in certain situations within our community. And so we want to see our community move forward. We want to see see everyone in a better position. And so any way we can help, we're here to help.
I love that. And I just really love what you guys are doing, because I feel the same way. Coming from where I come from, I was born and raised in Chicago, and again, a product of a single mother. But my story is a little bit different from you guys, where you guys had encouragement. I didn't, but that was the way that I kind of forged my way. And I want to share what I have learned to help other people so that they don't have to do the things the wrong way that I did. Tell me about your journey to get you to here, because, you and I, we all know that there's struggles, there's things you come across, there's um, obstacles, shall I say, whether it's, you being a black man, whereas it's, for me, it would be a black female and whatever. Just tell us about some of those journeys, because a lot of times people think that because you're successful, that it was all roses, that you just, got on a bike one day and said, oh, I'm just going to ride off into the sunset. Tell us about the journey. And because how I look at it and how I get inspired is when I see people who are like me, who I can relate to, who say, you know what, yep, I had that struggle, but look where I am today. That's different than a person sitting on the mountaintop saying, oh, I'm so great, look at me. But when you can say, you know what, I've been there and now I'm here, I think that's what really helps people. So tell me about that journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're trying to get real with us right now, Trina.
I like it.
So yeah. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. We've had our share of trials and tribulations, if you will. I mean, I growing, through the process of becoming a man and going through adulthood and making a lot of stupid decisions. I mean, cars being repoed. I mean, close to being evicted from your apartment, from not paying your bills on time, having issues with credit cards and unpaid traffic tickets, and any all those little things that you make, those mistakes that you make when you're younger. And I think that for me, I worked in corporate America, where I was in most cases one of only a handful of African Americans, especially at some of the levels where I was at. And I found myself personally, time and time and again, being the guy that was the fall guy, being the guy that was looked at as whereas my counterparts would be, whenever they were passionate about something that they believed in, it was just them being very passionate and showing initiative. Whereas if I was passionate, I was perceived as being angry or out of control, or not disciplined. And so having that happen to me over and over again, being passed over for promotions over and over again, it takes a toll on you. Having to not be myself in a corporate environment because of being scared to be perceived in a certain manner that wouldn't allow me to be promoted or to be respected, or whatever the case may be. And to be honest, and we all know that we're chameleons at times, right? But that it becomes exhausting. It becomes exhausting when you have to play a role or be a certain person, for 8 hours a day or what have you. And I think that's one of the main reasons that led us into entrepreneurship, is that desire to say, I want to strive make my own way, be able to live out my full potential, be able to reach the mountaintops. But let me tell you, when we started our business, it was definitely not any, roses and, petals. I mean, there were many times that Sterling can definitely attest to this, that we wanted to close the doors down and go back to corporate, go back to collecting a salary, right?
Right. And what so many people don't know or see, Trina, is how many failed businesses or how many failures that someone makes before they actually reach this success. What Stephen didn't mention, and he usually talks about this, is the fact that he's owned a barbershop, a restaurant. He had a tax business, an entertainment business, all these different types of businesses that happened way before we actually hit this point of success that everyone sees. And so it's not easy. And being a business owner means that you're working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, every single week. It doesn't slow down. It's not for the faint at heart. It's really about someone you have to have a sense of resiliency. You have to be resilient, because each and every time you get knocked down, you've got to be able to pick yourself back up, learn from your mistakes, and figure out a better way to do it the next time. And that's really what it comes down to. And Stephen and I, of course, Trina, I don't know if you have any siblings, but it's hard being in business together and being able to go into business with your family members. It's hard to be in business with anyone. We've had our challenges in the beginning. I'm trying to get to the point where we had to figure out, our place in the business and our roles and all of that kind of good stuff. So it wasn't easy, but if you really want something and you want it bad enough and you're willing to look hard at what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right and making adjustments, then you can succeed. You can succeed in anything.
I love that. I love the realness, and that's what people seem to forget. And then again, we're in the society of instant gratification. Everyone's looking at the YouTube star, the Kim Kardashian, and that's not real. That's not a norm. Let's put it like that. I have two teenagers, and they, like my daughter, she'll look at YouTube and she'll say, "Oh, here's this YouTube star that I follow," and I'm going, "Okay, well, that YouTube star, that's not real. So we need to get on planet real, and do the things that we need to do, because if you want to be successful and you want to pave your own way, you want to be an entrepreneur, we can do that. But it's, YouTube and Facebook are not the normal ways to do it. So it's very amazing to me nowadays when I talk to people, because like you, you guys are, on level 10. I'm trying to get there and touch you guys. But it's amazing when you talk to people and they just think it's, instant. They think it's, just add water and stir.
That's right.
And it's not like that. So I'm really glad you guys touched on the realness, what it really takes, because you're right. It takes resiliency. It takes, and I show my kids that too. I'm up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning working, doing things. And I say, hey, this is what happens when you're making your way, because I tell them the same thing. I said, I'm creating a legacy to pass to you.
Absolutely.
I'm creating generational wealth. And that's why you guys resonated so much with me when I saw the Young Millionaires series and everything. I said, oh, this is perfect. Because I don't know if that's really thought about. And like I said, just this instant world that we have nowadays. What do you guys think about that? Because you guys are now starting to reach out to the young people. What are you telling them when you talk to them about this? Are they bringing that up? Are they saying, wow, you guys really had to do some work? That's not what I want to do. I want to post some videos and do this and then be a millionaire tomorrow. What are you guys seeing?
I think we do definitely to what you're saying. Absolutely, that's true. Is that there are a lot of people that are looking for that instant gratification, that microwave, put it in for 60 seconds and blow. That's what they're looking for. But we talk about it all the time. We talk about the fact that it takes sacrifice if you want something to be sustainable for a long term. From a long-term perspective, it has to be something where you build a foundation now, and that building that foundation takes time. And I think that a lot of our youth are learning it eventually. And so the only thing that we can do is that we can try to plant those seeds and tell them now, and hopefully the green light will go off, and they'll realize that it is going to take some time, and that even some of these short-term, like you said, whether or not it's real on YouTube or whatever, even if it's short term, it's not sustainable. So we like to talk a lot about sustainability and saying, if you want to really make money when you're asleep, if you really want to make money while you're on vacation, sitting on the beach, reading a book, then that takes more than just posting videos on YouTube. That takes building a machine that will run when you're not there. And that means that you have to have true employees, a true team, a true company that operates. And that's what it's really about.
I agree. Just the last thing I would just say, and Stephen is spot on. I mean, the money that comes fast, you actually typically you lose it fast, right? It's not sustainable. So, these kids that are wanting the quick fix and they want to be a millionaire overnight, they have to understand that, and this is what we try to teach them, that you have to have a business that's sustainable, because the fast cash is nice, but it typically doesn't last long. When you look at, some of those successful entertainers out there, and even professional ball players, you see that you hear their success and failure stories all the time, because they make a lot of money, but they're not investing appropriately. And so they end up broke, in a very short period of time. So,
Yes. Now, you guys touched on mentorship, and I think you said you went and looked for mentors growing up. Who were some of your mentors that you looked up to?
So we were blessed to be able to find mentors in different areas, and we like to encourage everyone to basically say a mentor it can be basically anybody. It doesn't have to be some type of formal situation that you set up with, the local, high-powered attorney in your city. No, a mentor can be, for us, it was our Boy Scout leader when we were in the Boy Scouts. It was our choir our choir manager or leader when we were in the choir for church. It was our uncles when our father passed away when we were young. It was our mother's brothers that were mentors. It was teachers, at high school that in junior high and high school that took the time out, and even in college, to try to make sure that we were going to be successful. So we found different people along the way, or they found us, and we just made those relationships happen in different manners.
And that's it exactly. I mean, as far as mentors that we had, I think that Stephen and I have been each other's mentor. I mean, it's nice to have someone that you can talk to, that you can bounce ideas off of. Stephen is a very creative, outward thinker. He's a dreamer. He looks at the big picture, and so he's able to help me to look at things in a different way, because I'm very analytical and process driven, and so and very conservative. So there's a balance there between us, but we can mentor each other in our strengths and weaknesses. So that's definitely a good thing. So you just have to find that person. Mentorship is huge. Even for us right now, we have a strategic coach that we work with. We have business coaches and mentors that we talk to on a regular basis. You never get too big to have someone that you can talk to that can help keep you focused. So very, very, very important.
You guys are spot on, because that was going to be my question for you, is who are your coaches that you go to? Because even the great coaches have coaches.
Absolutely. So even in our book, we talk about, even Michael Jordan needed a coach. Even That's LeBron right. James needed a coach. The greatest athletes, if you want to talk about athleticism, you talk about the greatest of all time. I mean, they talk about LeBron James and how when he was in, high school, or when he was in junior high, he couldn't play basketball. He was horrible potential. Obviously, an athletic phenomenon, but he didn't understand conceptually the game of basketball until he had a coach to form him and get him right. You talk about these guys. I mean, Michael Jordan was known for, when everyone else was, going away, he would just want to spend time with his coach and just shoot, hundreds and hundreds of shots every day after practice was over, with his coach, just trying to learn the game and get better and better and better. So that's what it's all about.
I agree. I mean, as far as coaches are concerned, personally, we have several. Trina, us both being in the military, I have two colonels that I go to on a regular basis in regards to consulting with and understanding leadership and issues. Angela Garner, who's a colonel in the Army. Also, Nancy Bullard, who is a retired one-star general. And so, I mean, we have Jeff Weber, who is a a president of a local oil and gas engineering firm that we is a mentor for us. He actually wrote the foreword for us in our book. And so we definitely have mentors that we use. And another great thing that we've actually found on a business level is doing mastermind type groups. So even though we're having a mastermind group and we're launching one, we're actually part of mastermind groups as well. There's YPO, there's Vistage, there's different types of business type of groups where you put business owners together to talk about their businesses and come up with solutions. And we all share, even though the business may be a different type of business, we all share the same issues. And so it's great to come together and talk to someone that shares the woes and the successes that you have. So
I love it. And that's one of the things that I try to do with this podcast, with meeting great people like you, is I try to collaborate and I try to tell people that there's enough out there for everyone. We can all work together. You don't have to have that scarcity mindset. And you don't have to think that, okay, well, this person is doing this, so I don't have to do it, because you guys may be, on that same path or in that same arena where you guys could help each other, whether it's supporting, coaching, whatever the case may be. So I really like hearing that, because it's not a me against the world mentality.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
And that's a really good point, Trina, because I think we, especially in the African American community, we have, and it's I don't know if it was, well, we could go way back in regards to how that's ingrained into the mindset, but there's this crabs in a barrel type of mindset where we feel like we can't help each other do something. We have to pull each other down, and it's unfortunate because almost every other nationality, they look at things differently. So what we're really trying to do is to teach everyone it's okay. It's okay to have a mentor. It's okay to have a coach. It's okay for someone to help you. As a matter of fact, we could go a lot farther in this world if we help one another. So.
Yes. Now, going back to your initiative with the young people, is there an age range that you're looking for? How early are you looking for? High school, young adults out of college? What is your demographics that you're looking for?
So that's a great question. And Trina, initially we did have an age range. We were kind of saying, hey, we want young adults between the ages of 18 and 25. But then we decided that this program has the ability to really bless a huge amount of people. And so now what we basically have opened it up to anybody and everybody. And so we're basically saying we are looking for the young and the young at heart. So regardless of your age, or if you are just, still, maybe you're going through a transition stage where you're changing careers, trying to do something different, we encourage everyone to come out. And then additionally, being veterans ourselves, we are specifically trying to target former veterans, our veterans as well, to come in and look at entrepreneurship as a way of obtaining financial success. And then as African American males, in this world, second chance offenders has a place in our heart as well. We know that unfortunately, the way the prison system is set up now, 1 out of every 3 African American males is either incarcerated or has been incarcerated. We know how the system is set up to be unfortunately biased towards certain ethnicities. And so but the unfortunate thing is that even after they have done their time and paid their debt to society, if you will, they are not able to reform themselves from a financial standpoint because they have that black mark on them, for the rest of their lives. So we feel as though entrepreneurship again is an opportunity to give them a way of defining their own destiny, despite the things or the decisions, the poor decisions that they may have made in their past. So we're excited about really just touching a lot of people that we feel like are in need and maybe receptive to changing their mindset and doing something positive.
Yeah, I love that. And I really love the second chance offenders that you're reaching out to, because many people don't know, and listeners, if you don't know, a lot of times people do their time and then they get out and they want to reintegrate and be productive citizens, but because of laws and the bad mark against them, they can't. So then that turns into recidivism.
That's right.
But a lot of offenders, hopefully, I mean, a lot of times they don't have any other choice if they have the mindset to go into entrepreneurship, because a lot of them can't go into corporate America or other jobs and get a job working for someone else. So they have to turn that around and use it for and work for themselves. So I'm very glad to hear that. A lot of people don't understand what people have to go through once they have been incarcerated, and I think educating the public and giving those who want a second chance, because we all know that not everyone wants a second chance.
That's right.
So I'm really glad to hear you guys are doing that. So that is very good to hear. Now we're going to go into my questions. So I'm going to give you guys my 10 questions, and I'm going to give you both time to give your answer on them. So are you guys ready?
Absolutely ready.
Okay. Who or what motivates you?
So I can start with that. As far as what motivates me, I think my motivation is my why, and I'm really big on helping others. So what drives and motivates me is making a difference in people's lives in a positive way. So as long as whatever business, whatever I'm doing, as long as it's helping others and it's providing positive influence in their lives, then it keeps me motivated. It keeps me focused on the mission. So.
And I think my motivation would be from a personal standpoint is my family, my wife and kids. Trying to make sure that I'm setting a good example for them, and making sure that I have an opportunity to give them a stress-free life as possible, and the ability to be able to get all the things that they need, and then some of the things that they want.
Okay. What demotivates you?
I think I think what demotivates me honestly is not being appreciated for all the hard work that I do. I think everyone wants to be recognized for things that they do, and not in a financial standpoint, but I know how hard Stu and I work to make sure that our staff, that our company, that our mentees, that everyone is taken care of. So just being appreciated for that, and if I don't feel appreciated for the hard work that I put, or at the time and the hours that I put in, I think that's a demotivator for me.
I think the demotivator for me, and I don't know if demotivation is probably the right term, but I sincerely hate lazy people. So I don't know if it does. I don't know if it necessarily demotivates me, but it irritates me. We try to make sure that we have, the key to success is having a team around you of people that share your vision, share your passion, share your energy. But anytime having someone around me that doesn't have a get up and go to you, that can demotivate or irritate me.
Okay. When was a time that something was said or done to hurt you, but it worked out for your good?
For me, I think it was when I opened up my first business, which was a physical therapy practice, and I'd been working at a particular hospital for 10 years, and had been instrumental, I think, in building that department up, the physical therapy department up. And when I was interested in kind of getting out and branching out on my own and opening up my own business, I wanted to work part time at the hospital and actually continue working part time and start the business up on the side. And my supervisor at that point in time basically said, "No, I'm not going to allow you to do that." She said, "If you want to go into business and you and start your own business, then you have to do that. But I don't have a part time job for you. So either you're in or you're out." And so I thought that was the worst possible thing after putting 10 years into this hospital, knowing that they needed someone to be there, even on a part-time basis, to take care of patients. and she wouldn't give me the opportunity, I was crushed. But I walked away from that full-time job, and I didn't have one foot in and one foot out. It forced me to be all in, 100% in to building my business. And I think it was because of that the success that we have today is because I had to put 150% into my dream, and I couldn't be one foot in and one foot out. So that would be mine.
Yeah. And I appreciate that, Sterling. Is my story is very similar. It's interesting. And I think you'll find a lot of entrepreneurs have a similar story. Is that there was something that happened in their lives that forced them to take that step into entrepreneurship and just jump in. Both before, for me, it was in corporate America, and I talked a little bit earlier about being in a position in corporate America where I always found myself to be the fall guy, or if there was something that was going wrong on the project, it always just seemed to happen to have something to do with me for whatever reason. And the last straw was we had started Sterling Staffing Solutions. It was going relatively well. I was still in corporate, working a full-time job as a finance manager, and running Sterling Staffing Solutions at night or on off days, if you will, and had a project that came up where, again, I was being targeted as one of the guys that had did something wrong in the project, and it was the last straw for me. And basically, I said, you know what, you guys can have it because it's not worth it. I'm leaving on my own terms, and I'm done. And so I walked away that day, never looked back, jumped 100% into our business, and it paid off. It paid off. So that's one of the turning points for me, is for sure.
What is your fear?
I think everyone's fear is especially as a business owner, is a fear of failure.
Yeah.
So that would be, I think, both of ours.
Yeah.
He said fear of failure.
Okay. Is there a time when you wish you had done something that you didn't?
That's a good one, Trina. Let me see. I think, well, one, and this is something I tell our mentees all the time. If you are, I think one of my regrets was not going into business sooner, because it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of dedication, and it's a lot harder to do that later on in life when you have kids and you're married and that kind of thing. You have more responsibilities, you have more people counting on you versus starting when you're young and you don't have as much responsibility and you have the time. You can put in 60 to 80 hours a week, and then by the time you're ready for a family, your business is more settled. So I would just say, start. I would get not starting sooner and starting up a business.
Yeah, I think that it's healthy to have a bit of hesitation or contemplation, or kind of looking at every decision you make to see whether or not you've made the right decision, or could you go back and change it. I think that on a daily basis, I have this, kind of have that internal reflection to see whether or not, even if the decision that I made was successful and all right, I may even successful decisions, wonder whether or not it could have been even better than it was, and definitely in the decisions that didn't go well, asking what we could have done differently. I think that that's something that we should always have. It's just a healthy sense of just kind of going back and revisiting and seeing how can you be better in every situation.
Okay, now here's the opposite. Is there a time when you wish you had not done something?
Definitely. I mean, I think that for me, it's, as being a business owner, you have to make some really hard decisions. And sometimes not all those decisions for anyone, not all the decisions that you make are going to be the right one. I mean, I think that there's probably been employees in the past that I have probably, I can think of one that I let go, and probably in hindsight 2020, probably should have given them another opportunity, probably talk to them and find out how we could have changed or figured a way out to get better results in those situations. So I think just probably not making a brash decision of letting somebody go.
Absolutely. And I think that for me, we, some of the business decisions, some of the companies that I opened up in the past, one specifically was I decided to invest in a jazz lounge, a jazz restaurant, and it was a really really bad decision. And I wish I could have turned that around and talked to a lot of friends who told me not to do it. I pushed through anyway because I thought that no, I'm the guy that I've got the ability to make this work, even though everyone thinks it wasn't going to work. Well, it turned out that everyone else was right and I was wrong. But it was definitely a life lesson for me that changed kind of the way I approach business from that point going forward, to the point where I would probably say I will never get caught in that type of situation again. Maybe something different, but not the same type of situation.
What is your definition of success?
I think Stephen actually alluded to it earlier. I think the definition of success, especially when you're talking about, well, one, I think happiness is because money does not provide you with happiness. I think success is being happy and being in a place where you're happy and you're healthy. I would definitely say that. I think the other thing, and from a business perspective, is just being able to know that even when you're not at work, um, that your company is still making money. It's still generating revenue. It's just a wonderful feeling to know that you have something that's generating, even when you're at home or when you're on vacation. The business is still rolling and it's still succeeding. So.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that totally. And then just along the same line, just peace, just overall peace mentally, be at peace with yourself and with with your family, and that everyone is in a good space. I think just peace of mind is the number one for me.
How do you recharge?
So for me, it's I love to get away. I love beaches. So if I can get anywhere, Cancun, Jamaica, anywhere where a beach, Galveston is a great way just to sit back on the beach, watch the waves, just sit back and just think about all of the beauty that God has created and how blessed we truly are. Of course, recharging and spending time with my family and just not, just thinking about why we're doing everything that we're doing. So I think it's just taking a moment to reflect, and that's how I recharge.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Travel and a bit of a social butterfly. So even if I have anytime I have a chance to kind of break bread with the fellas and have a cigar and a cognac or whatever and be stress free, that's always nice too.
What are you awesome at?
Um, I would say for me, I think work ethics. I think that there are a lot of smart people out there, a lot of great business owners out there, but I think um, that I'm really, really good with being disciplined and having a strong work ethic. So um, I'm up every morning early and getting things done. So if I'm up at 3 o'clock, my day is probably, I think, double what someone else's day is, because I'll start at 3 o'clock and I won't end until 7 or 8. So I'm getting in, 200% productivity in comparison to someone's normal 8-hour day. So I think work ethics would be mine.
Um, that's a good question. What am I awesome at? I think I'm pretty good with um, selling people on of the vision, of our
Mm-hmm.
company, of what we're trying to do. I think I'm pretty good about kind of rallying the troops and getting them to buy in, which is so important when you have a company, and making sure that they feel motivated and feel able to get to the finish line, because they're able to believe in the vision and to believe in what we're trying to do. So I think I'm pretty good at selling a vision.
Okay. What legacy do you want to leave?
I would love my legacy. I've always determined that if you have done something so profound, so special, if you've given so much to your community that a building is named after you, then that means that you have actually done something. You made your mark. You've established a legacy. You have done something that there's value enough in that, where someone is wanting to keep your name going for uh, years and years to come. So I think that's kind of been my definition of legacy, just to do something worthy enough to where someone would want to, put my name on a building somewhere. Which I don't know, maybe being an egotistical thing. I think I would like to have a legacy of building entrepreneurs. I think one of the and this gentleman is still a mentor to me now. I work for a small business, kind of fairly early outside of college, and the all of the employees for that business. I don't want to say all of the employees, but a vast majority of the employees that work for that business have now gone on to open up their own businesses and be fairly successful. And I've always felt like that was a testimony to the leadership of those three gentlemen that own that company, and how they inspired everyone in that company to be like, you have the ability to own your own firm and to do your own thing. And it's not, they never said that to us, but they showed us, they were inspirational just in the way that they moved and the way that they walked. And so to me, my legacy, I would love to be able to say that I inspired hundreds and hundreds of young people to become entrepreneurs, and that I could basically be able to reach out and talk to several people that basically said the reason that I decided to start a business was because of something that I said or that I did that made them feel like, get the energy or the passion or the courage to step out on their own and create their own destiny.
Okay, so Stephen and Sterling, give the listeners one motivational takeaway.
I think that anything that's worth having is worth working for. I think that if you have a dream, if you have a wish, if you want to be successful in life, just understand that it's not necessarily going to come easy. Anything that you want, if it's something of value, you're probably going to have to put some work into it. So don't look for the easy fix. Don't look for the easy cash option. Come up with a plan for what you're wanting to do, and be willing to put the work in to implement that plan so that you can be successful.
And I would say, change the people that you hang around. You are the you are the output, the result of the crowd that you hang around with. It's obviously we know from a criminal standpoint that you're guilty by association, but that reflection also your success is determined by the crowd that you run with. And I think that for me, when I made a decision many years ago to say, you know what, I'm tired of hanging around a mediocre crowd, a mediocre mindset. And I decided that I would strategically change the type of people that I hung around with, and change my mentality so that I was not the smartest in the room, and that I was always in a room of people that were smarter than me. That changed the trajectory of my life. And so I think the one biggest thing that we can all do to just basically move the needle is to change the crowd that we hang with.
Okay. Tell the listeners how they can connect with you.
So I think a couple of different ways, Trina. One, our website, youngmillionairesseries.com. If they could jump on that website, it will give you all the information in regards to our Young Millionaire Series conference, the 4-city tour that we're doing. All the information is there. If they're wanting to get in contact with us specifically, if they can go to thecarterbrothers.com. That site has all of our information and contact information on there. Of course, our social media. If you Google the Carter Brothers or the Twin Carters on Facebook, we have a page on there. We also have the Twin Carters on Instagram. We're on Twitter as well. So
LinkedIn as well.
LinkedIn. So any of those areas or avenues, you can definitely get in contact with us.
Okay. Well, guys, I am so honored that you guys took time out to be on Trina Talk and share your great successes, your story, your journey, and what you're doing to give back. And I definitely know that this will inspire the listeners. So I thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. It was a lot of fun.
It sure was. Thank you, Trina, for your time as well.
If you like Trina Talk, please don't forget to go out to Apple Podcasts to subscribe. Also, who else in your life do you know that needs some motivation and inspiration in their life? Don't forget to share Trina Talk with them. I hope you have a great week. And remember, if you change your mindset, you can change your life. Keep striving, because success is a journey, not a destination. You can listen to Trina Talk anytime and anywhere. It's available on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, and all other places that you can listen to podcasts. If you like the podcast, please don't forget to go to iTunes to subscribe, rate, review, and share. If you have questions for me or need inspiration on how to go to the next level, tweet me directly at Trina L. Martin.